One cooler company sells you a $400 box, promises you 7 days of ice, and then quietly watches independent testers report it fully melted by day 4. But here is the thing. That is not even the worst markup in this video. Some of the most expensive coolers in America? They are the exact same spun plastic as brands costing a third of the price. And they are betting you will never set the two side by side. So today, we expose it. Who is robbing you blind, and who actually earns your money? Stick around, because number 1 might already be in your garage. Let us start with the big one. The Yeti Tundra 45 sells for somewhere between $300 and $325. Remember that number. Every other cooler in this video gets measured against it. Now here is what Yeti will never put in an ad. Yeti did not invent this. A company called Engel built the first rotomolded cooler. Yeti just marketed it harder than anyone alive and turned a plastic icebox into a billion-dollar lifestyle brand. And look, the cooler itself is good. 3 inches of insulation. A one-piece mold shell. Bear resistant. Nobody is calling the Tundra junk. The problem is what is sitting right next to it on the shelf. The RTIC 45 costs about $220, and it is built the exact same way. The Cabela's Polar Cap starts near $150. And independent testers, the folks at CNN_, at Reviewed, at Hunting Gear Deals, keep coming back with the same answer. The Yeti holds ice about as long as coolers costing $100 less. The gap is so small, they say, you will never feel it on a real trip. So think about what you are actually paying for. There is no secret Yeti cold. There is no magic insulation. There is a logo, a color drop, and a $100 tax for being seen carrying it. That is not a bad cooler. That is bad math. And the next brand? It takes that same markup and bolts wheels onto it. This is the one from the hook. The Brewmate BrewTank Rolling Cooler. $400. Brewmate calls it, and I am quoting their own website here, the most durable cooler ever made. It showed up wrapped in influencer hype, candy colors, and a built-in drink tap, all designed to make buying a cooler feel like joining a club. But here is the bombshell. Brewmate advertises 7+ days of ice retention. 7 days. So the team at Taste of Home actually tested it in real heat. And the ice? Completely gone by day 4. Not day 7. Day 4. That is not a rounding error. That is the headline number, off by almost half. So you are handing over $400 for wheels, a foam seat, and a tap. Meanwhile, a Cabela's Polar Cap, at $150, is independently rated to actually hold ice for 7 days and beyond. That is the exact promise Brewmate made, and did not keep. The drink tank is a fun idea. I will give them that. But it is not a $400 idea. You are buying a party accessory priced like a serious cooler. Brewmate at least sells you something new. The next brand charges nearly as much, and hands you a fish ruler. The Pelican 70-quart Elite. List price, north of $360. Pelican will tell you that buys the toughest cooler on the shelf. And honestly? The build quality is real. This is the company that made its name on those indestructible camera cases, but look closer at what that price actually gets you. This thing is heavy. Heavier than almost everything it competes with. And you feel every pound of it the second you try to carry it full across a beach. The warranty? It has holes cut right in it. Pelican specifically leaves out the rubber feet and the drain plug. Which, funny enough, are exactly the parts most likely to break. And the ice retention, the one number that actually defines a cooler? It lands in the same 7 to 10 day range as an Orca, an RTIC, a Cabela's. So you are paying a premium for nice latches and a built-in ruler for measuring fish. Now here is what Pelican really does not want you to know. That same 70-quart Elite? It regularly drops to $250 in normal retailer sales. Think about that. A cooler that quietly sheds $112 was never a $360 cooler. That was an anchor price. And you were the target. Pelican at least owns its tough guy reputation honestly. The next brand sells you the reputation and leaves out the lawsuit. Orca built its whole pitch on 3 words. Made in America. The coolers are assembled in Tennessee. They carry a lifetime warranty. And Orca leans on both of those facts hard, because both of those facts are what let it charge you Yeti money. A mid-size Orca sits right in that $300 range. And to be fair, Orca delivers on ice. Testing puts it among the best in the category. 8, 9, 10 days in good conditions. Sometimes it even beats Yeti. So why is it on the robbing you side of this list? Because of one brand it really does not want to stand next to. The Cabela's Polar Capital. Also made in America. Also a lifetime warranty. And it starts at $150. Same country. Same guarantee. Half the price, or less. So Orca's premium is not buying you American manufacturing. The cheaper brand already has that. The molding process, the foam, the freezer-grade gasket, none of it belongs to Orca alone. You are paying a brand surcharge, dressed up as a flag. And that lifetime warranty? It sounds generous, right up until you remember a decent rotomolded cooler almost never breaks in the first place. Orca at least keeps its ice as long as it promises. The next brand could not even keep its own designs out of a courtroom. Okay. This story is exactly as petty as it sounds, and I love it. RTIC launched back in 2015 with one plan. Build a cooler that looked almost exactly like a Yeti and sell it for less. And when I say almost exactly, I mean the contours, the lid shape, the latch tabs, the 4-letter name, even the chunky logo. From 10 feet away, you could not tell them apart. RTIC even ran side-by-side comparison charts on its own website. Their slogan, "And this is real," was basically, like a Yeti, but half the price. So Yeti sued. And in 2017, RTIC settled. They paid Yeti. And they were forced to redesign their entire cooler and drinkware line, because the originals copied Yeti too closely. That is not a rumor. That is a settlement that cleared. So here is why the old RTIC lands at the very worst spot on this list. Its whole identity was being a copy. And the moment a court forced that redesign, the founding promise, blatant Yeti for half price, was legally taken apart. A brand whose origin story is a court-ordered redesign is a brand asking you to trust a name it borrowed. RTIC got caught. But here is the twist this whole video has been building toward. That redesign? The one Yeti forced on them as a punishment. It turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to RTIC. And that is where the value half of this list begins. So strip away the copycat history and look at what RTIC actually sells today. That court-ordered redesign forced the company to stop imitating and start engineering. And the result? It is the smartest pure rotomolded buy in this entire video. The RTIC 45 sells for around $220. Often dropping closer to $207 on sale. CNN_ put it head-to-head against the $325 Yeti Tundra 45. What did they find? Near identical construction. The same 3-inch insulated walls. The same rubber latches. The same ice retention. And Hunting Gear Deals ran the RTIC neck and neck with the Yeti for an entire test and called it the best value in the bracket. So you are getting genuine premium performance for roughly a third less money. The only thing missing is the badge. RTIC is living proof that the lawsuit Yeti meant as a punishment is now your discount. But the next brand? It undercuts even that. The Cabela's Polar Cap Equalizer starts at $150 and runs up toward $250 for the really big sizes. And for that, here is your list. A rotomolded resin shell. A freezer-grade gasket. Aluminum hinge rods. Bear-resistant. Made in America. And a lifetime, unlimited warranty. Now go back 2 minutes in your memory. That is the exact same pitch Orca just gave you, for twice the money. And the performance is not some step down, either. Field & Stream ran the Polar Cap against Yeti and a whole lineup of premium coolers. The Cabela's? It outperformed all of them on ice retention. One longtime owner summed it up perfectly. He said for the price of a Yeti 65, you can buy the Cabela's 100 quart. Same toughness. Same warranty. Same country. Nearly double the cooler. Cabela's is the brand that quietly proves the whole premium tier is a confidence trick. And the next two picks? They prove you might not even need to spend this much. Igloo has been making coolers for nearly 70 years. They released their first rotomolded model back in 2008, long before the lifestyle marketers ever showed up. And the modern Igloo BMX line gives you the thing every premium brand sells. Thick insulated walls. Rubber T-latches. That blow-mold toughness. For well under $200. Often closer to $130. What you do not get is a brand ambassador. Or a curated color drop. Or an Instagram campaign filming the cooler on a paddleboard at sunrise. You just get a cooler. It keeps ice for days. It survives the bed of a pickup truck. And when you set it down next to a Tundra at a campsite, the only person who can tell the difference is the one who paid $325. Igloo is the receipt. Proof that a solid rotomolded cooler does 90% of what the most expensive one does at a third of the cost. And the next brand? It goes even cheaper and does not even flinch. This is the cooler the premium brands are quietly hoping your pride keeps you away from. Walmart's Ozark Trail. A 26-quart hard-sided Ozark runs about $40. $40. And the bigger rotomolded models still land at a fraction of a Yeti. And here is the thing, this is not a secret. Owners on outdoor forums have been running this exact comparison for years. They pack an Ozark Trail next to a Yeti, same trip, same conditions, and they report the same result every single time. The ice lasts about the same. The build holds up. One reviewer put it perfectly. He said he takes the Ozark to resorts because it is cheaper if it gets lost or damaged, and it performs the same. That right there? That is the whole game. Ozark Trail is what you buy once you have decided a cooler is equipment, not jewelry. It will not turn heads at the tailgate. But it will keep your drinks exactly as cold as the box that costs 6 times more. And it will not make you wince when somebody stands on the lid. Ozark wins on raw price. But the number one pick? It wins by being right, before any of these brands even existed. Before Yeti ever convinced America that a cooler was a status symbol. Coleman was just the cooler. And here is the part that might sting a little, if there is a $300 box in your garage right now. Coleman still makes excellent coolers. And they cost between $30 and $80. Now, I am going to be straight with you. A basic Coleman will not match a rotomolded Yeti for raw, multi-day ice retention. That is true, and it is worth saying out loud. But here is what nobody tells you. Coleman also builds tougher hard-sided models made for serious endurance. And for the vast majority of how people actually use a cooler, a weekend camping trip, a day at the lake, a backyard barbecue, a Coleman keeps everything cold for exactly as long as you need. The premium industry's favorite trick? Selling you 10 days of ice retention when your real cooler day lasts about 8 hours. Coleman calls that bluff. For $30. You are buying nearly a century of proven manufacturing, a cooler that simply does the job, and roughly $300 left sitting in your pocket. No influencer campaign. No court settlement. No inflated retention claim. Because a $30 Coleman never needed a story to justify itself. And that is the whole lesson of this video. So let us run the honest math one last time. A cooler is 3 things: insulation, a seal, and a latch. That is it. Yeti, Brewmate, Pelican, and Orca will charge you $300 to $400 for those 3 things. RTIC, Cabela's, Igloo, Ozark Trail, and Coleman? They give you the same cold for a third of the price. And Cabela's beat Yeti in an actual test while doing it. Marketing fades. Logos peel off. But the ice? The ice melts at exactly the same speed, no matter whose name is on the lid. So judge a cooler by what it does, not by the badge. Do that, and your next one will keep your drinks just as cold for a fraction of the price. Now I want to hear it. Which brand were you about to overpay for? Drop it down in the comments.